Welcome to the AFC North Roundtable, a weekly live show featuring top-tier insight and analysis on all things AFC North from the best creators in the division, including Baltimore Ravens creator Sam, Pittsburgh Steelers creator Mark, Cleveland Browns creator Chef Zay, and Cincinnati Bengals creator Zim. Catch the AFC North Roundtable every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the AFC North Roundtable YouTube channel.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the AFC North Roundtable. Of course, this show is brought to you by Sleeper as well as RotoWire. We will get to them a little bit later, but had a lot of fun matchups this weekend. Of course, we had an inner AFC North matchup between the Browns and Ravens. The Bengals hosted the Jaguars and wound up winning that one. And then the Steelers, coming off of a high game against the New York Jets, unfortunately fall at home to the Seattle Seahawks. We're going to get all of the different host takes on this show today. We'll bring in everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. And I think the game that we can actually start with, we'll keep this one in the AFC North. Of course, the Ravens probably this year had maybe one of the most fun games of the season when it comes to the Bills and Ravens Sunday night football game. Everybody in America was watching. Of course, the Bills did host the comeback. It was just a lot of fun if you're just the average NFL fan to watch this one. And then, of course, they get their revenge against the Cleveland Browns at home, 41-17. We can go ahead and get Samuel's take on this game. Samuel, how did you feel about this one?
I felt like I saw it coming. If you watched the show last week, I said we're going to win by at least 3 touchdowns. We did win by at least 3 touchdowns. But I will say this about the Browns. They are a dangerous football team, especially on defense. Zim warned me about the defense coming into that game, and I was like, I don't know. But then looking at them, boy, that front four is crazy. Myles Garrett, I thought they were going to shift him around a little bit. With Mason Graham, they have a lot more opportunity to do that. So they kept Myles Garrett on the left side, and he just punished Ronnie Stanley the whole game. And then Mason Graham was able to get some penetration to stop the run when we weren't able to run the ball much. And a lot of that had to do with Mason Graham, and then there are 2 corners on the outside as well. So that defense is dangerous. And we saw it. I know the score probably showed us that, we blew them out a little bit, but that score didn't really dictate that the Browns really did beat us within the trenches. So shout outs to the Browns. But obviously, as I mentioned, every single time I get a chance to, if you got one of those 4 quarterbacks in your arsenal, it doesn't matter how bad you're doing in the trenches, it doesn't matter how bad your team is overall, you're going to win football games. And that's what happened when Lamar Jackson took over. No Derrick Henry, no problem. 4 touchdowns. We've seen the stats all over social media. He's leading the league in passer rating and all these other crazy stats. And it's all good and dandy. I'm just glad that we got the win because, honestly, we didn't do well within the trenches at all, especially our offensive front against the defense of the Cleveland Browns. So shout-outs to the Browns. I think they're, again, a quarterback away from getting it done, but I'm glad we got the monkey off our back. There was a real chance of us went down after losing in the fashion we did against the Bills, and I'm glad we were able to pick up the W.
Yeah, the Browns, I think they're one of those teams that they may not get a lot of wins, but they're going to be a pain in the butt to deal with for any opponent that's facing them. We'll go on and get Chef Zay's take on this game. What did you see out of it?
All I know is I've seen the movie Longest Yard, and I know when Point Shaving and people is in on certain gigs, and y'all got the Paul crew before he got with the Mean Machine Gang, because there wasn't no way in hell that Joe Flacco was looking at like that. I mean, it was unreal. You see this dude, and it's just like, bro, you in on this? Like, what are these throws that we watching right now? But no, it sucks. You guys know me. You guys know I'm silver lining. You guys know I'm Mr. Optimistic. I will always try to find a way to look through that lens. It is so hard to do that right now, knowing what our offense is. And it makes it even more frustrating because fans here are so hell-bent on this Kevin Stefanski guy and that he's just the only answer that we should have, when his entire tenure here is exactly what we're watching on display. For the past 3 years, we have led the league in turnovers. And if we haven't led it, we've been top 2. Like, that's an implication of the head coach. And you could say the quarterback play and all of this stuff, but at the end of the day, he has the ability to make the change if the turnovers get that bad. And yet there's never any adjustments. There's never any changes. The defense puts us in so many opportunities to come out here and score points. You talk about what the Ravens, you guys should have won by 40 if it wasn't for this defense. We stopped you off of the punt. That should have been 7. I think that was 3. You guys, we punched the one ball out with Mark Andrews that didn't turn into 7 points. So you guys left points out there when you really should have kicked our ass by 50. So it's just frustrating because, like Zim said before we came in, when is it going? It might be perfect time. It ain't going to be Shedeur time yet, but how many throws? I can't even say how many games. How many throws does Joe Flacco have until we see Dylan Gabriel? Because at this point, I have Flacco fever better than anyone. And unfortunately, if this is the product that we're going to get, we're going to have to move on from him.
So I know a lot of people are kind of calling for Shedeur a lot. And of course, as maybe more losses come, people are going to start really clamoring for a little bit more. But, the Browns drafted Dylan Gabriel before they drafted Shedeur Sanders. So is there going to be, who are we going to see first, you think? Are we going to see Dylan Gabriel, or would it potentially be Shedeur Sanders first?
You're 1,000% seeing Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel first, especially knowing that that's Stefanski's guy. They can't wait to get him in the game. That's the thing that I know for certain at this point. So it's just going to be a matter of time. I think the real pressure is going to come when Dylan Gabriel does get in the game and he does have those rookie mistakes and he does throw a couple of interceptions and maybe not make the right reads or hold on to the ball too long. That's when the pressure is going to sit in, because once you start Dylan Gabriel, the ticking time bomb on Shedeur Sanders is literally at every single throw.
Interesting. So we can go around the rest of the table. Zim, I know there was a big matchup going on between our teams. We'll get to that later. But with what happened with the Ravens and Browns, what are some of your takeaways from this matchup?
It's what I said, first episode we did this season, learning from experience, Andy Daltons of the world and all these Kenny Pickett's of the world and all these guys like that. You better find out what you got off the break. Browns fans did not listen to anything, not just Zay, did not listen to anything I said. When Joe Burrow first started his entire career, his second game ever, he threw for 350 yards against the Browns. Even though the Browns won that game, Bengals knew off the break, that's a guy. You know what I'm saying? Like all these excuses and different things on the roster that we used to make as Bengals fans for Dalton, I never had to make them for Burrow. And when you get a guy, and the only way to know is to play him. J.J. McCarthy is an example of this. They played him. They now saw a small sample size. They're coming up with a fake injury or something like that now, saying he sprained an ankle. Give him a couple of weeks. So worst case scenario, guy doesn't look good. You come back 2 to 3 weeks later, say, hey, let me try you again. Then if it doesn't work out throughout the season, you're out of there. This is a business. This is not about anybody's feelings or any of that stuff like that. And those were the things that I was stressing, like come week 1. Joe Flacco at no point is going to be able to get you 9, 10, 11 wins or anything like that to get you to the playoffs. So what are you doing wasting your time? Joe Flacco from the very beginning should have been a guy that was mentoring those guys so that Dylan Gabriel starts off week 1, feet to the fire. You build off of that and build off of that. And now they're in a weird spot because once all this time goes by, it just tick, tick, tick. Then you get to the end of the season and you stuck with a small sample size. And then you'll be like, I don't know. Then you're going to have half the fan base saying, oh, I think I still like Shedeur. The other half going to be saying, well, I like Dylan, but it was only like 3-4 games. You don't want to do that. Get him, boy. You should have split that joint right off the break and said, you get 8, you get 8. And we'll see, how these games go. And I think that's the end. That's how I feel about the whole Browns quarterback situation. Sam was 100% on point. The Browns defense can cause problems for a lot of teams throughout the season. We'll see if they'll keep it up the exact same way. Of course, Myles Garrett is going to be Myles Garrett. Mason Graham will get better, guys like that. But there are different things on the roster that I just think from a talent perspective, I don't know what they were expected. If you're saying your number 2 wide receiver is Cedric Tillman and you're running rookie running backs out there and you're relying on rookie tight ends, like that's not a formula. That's a formula for hope, and I just don't believe in it. I think you need to see what you got from them quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting position to be in. I know if you're the Browns, if you do somehow fall to 0-3 or 0-4, it's evaluation time, right? You got to see what you have in the quarterbacks and see if you're going to have to make a big move to get one because you don't know where they're going to be drafting at. Of course, they have 2 first-round picks this year, which could be heavy ammunition to potentially move up. I think they need to know what they have in their guys, but we'll, of course, see how the season progresses. Mark, what did you think about this Browns? What's up?
Can I just say something real quick about that? This is my only time of it. I think it's so backwards for someone to say, and I heard a Browns fan tell me this yesterday, to say that let's use draft capital to go up to get something that we can get for free. You don't have to use your draft capital. You could take your 2 first-round picks, let the bummy team that wants to take one of those weak quarterbacks, let them send you more first-round picks for your pick. You don't need. Why would you use that one asset that you have to get something that you can get for free? I just want to say that.
So you're saying go tank, bottom out, and get your guy.
Bottom out, bro, their next 2 games, spoiler alert, I got the Browns at 0-4. Those are tough matchups.
This is my only problem with the draft thing, though. And this is why I hate being in the situation that and I've talked about this so many times. You draft a quarterback. Let's just say hypothetically we do get that first top whatever pick, right? You draft this guy. How much of a leash are you giving Kevin Stefanski again and Andrew Berry again? John Dorsey drafted Baker Mayfield and was fired within a year and a half. And now look at where Baker Mayfield is. I'm not trying to play revisionist history or anything like that, but you're gonna let these guys draft somebody at the top of the draft next year. They're gonna come out and suck again, and they're gonna get another pass because, well, he's the rookie. We got to do this, this, and this. It's going to be a never-ending revolving door with Kevin Stefanski and excuses, and it's just like eventually the reset's going to have to come. Kevin Stefanski's margin for error is so little. So you do draft the guy. He gets 1 year, maybe he gets 2 years. Now you're firing your coach and you're bringing in the next guy, and all of a sudden the guy that you wasted with the first overall pick is no longer your guy because that's not who this new coach wants. So that's the only reason why I'm like, you got to make a decision now. You either are hell-bent on Kevin Stefanski for the next 4 years, no matter what, or you have to get rid of his ass this year if Dylan Gabriel doesn't work.
But isn't the plan this year that, if they're playing Joe Flacco, the plan probably is they want to win games, right? That's probably the only reason to play Joe Flacco. So if they do bottom out, they go 0-4, 0-5, and you have to play the rookies, isn't that a perfect opportunity to say, hey, we gave you a chance with a veteran, you got to get on out of here?
I think the reason why they brought in Joe Flacco, I think Myles Garrett threw a wrench into all of this. Once Myles Garrett signed that contract and he came back, all of the plan that they originally had went out the window. So I don't know if it was just a poker face where okay, we're gonna give him Joe Flacco and we're gonna pretend like we're gonna compete, when in reality this was the plan all along, was to stink it up. So I don't really know. But I do agree that Joe Flacco definitely, to start the season, would have given you the best chance to win. And putting a rookie in out the gate, granted, I agree with Zim saying that you should get these guys in there, but throwing Dylan Gabriel in the first week with the Bengals, and then the Bengals, the Ravens, then the Packers, then the Lions, then the Vikings, come on, man. You're asking to fail that guy.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Of course, this is going to be a fluid situation. Things could change every single week. Maybe by the week 5-6 mark, we see a change out there. But I'm someone that if last year the Jags were 2-10, I'm sitting here why are we winning games anymore? Just lose out. The best thing to do is bottom out. Sometimes the best way to get back to the top is just to bottom out. So we'll see, of course, what the Browns end up doing. We'll go ahead and move on to Mark. Mark, what were your thoughts on this Browns and Ravens matchup?
Thoughts are just what Sam said last week, and big shout out to Sam. He said he was going to crush them, and they did. I didn't believe it. I thought the Browns could keep up. But the Ravens now have scored 40 points every fucking game every 2 weeks. So I think we are getting set to see the Ravens in the Super Bowl or something similar, or Ravens versus Bills again, because it's a very talented team. It's a very, very good team. And if the Ravens were to versus Steelers next week, we get crushed. We would get run over by their run defense. Lamar Jackson's on fire, 6 TDs, MVP. I actually do think the Browns have had it tough starting out with Bengals and Ravens first. Let's talk about it, boys. The AFC North is very competitive. When we all play each other, we all get fired up. It's good football. The NFL loves it, this kind of football. the Browns going into Raven land, and John Harbaugh was not going to lose that game. We all know he plays for preseason tickets too. He loves preseason football. He wasn't going to lose against the Browns in this game. So they definitely amped it up in the fourth quarter, scoring 21 points. Ravens are a top tier team. And in the Cleveland Browns situation, now you've got to go and face the Packers too next week. That's tough as well. So they may go out 0-3. I thought the game was enjoyable, but at the moment, the Ravens are looking like a team that can just win and find their way to win the AFC North. That's the ultimate goal, really, to host a playoff game in their stadium. And Sam I couldn't believe when he said, I'm very confident about 3 scores. And fuck, he was right. That's all I got.
Fuck you, Sam.
Well, there you have it for the Browns and Ravens AFC North matchups. Are usually, I feel like no matter how good and bad teams are, these games are usually pretty tight. But this one, of course, was not. The Ravens take home the W, just kind of taking out revenge after that Sunday night football game. So we can move on to probably the most interesting game when it comes to just the closeness of it is, of course, the Jaguars and Bengals game. The Bengals did not have a lead until 18 seconds left when it actually mattered most. They pull out the W, having a very long drive where the backup quarterback, drove the length down the field and scored themselves a touchdown and put it away before the Jaguars had any opportunity to come back in that one. Zim, I'm just so very happy for you, and I really can't wait to hear your thoughts on this game.
No, you don't.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, we'll let you go first. Let's hear it.
It's a lot in that game. I am very, very excited, I guess, that the Bengals are 2-0. Of course, I am very disappointed that Joe Burrow got hurt in the game, right? I know that the ops get a chance to kind of victory lap his injury, and that's the part that makes me sick. And then I was watching Sunday after the games, and already they just started propping up like all these like bum quarterbacks, and like I can't take it. But I will say it was a really, really good game. I thought the Bengals defense did what they were supposed to do throughout most of the game. I was very disappointed in them on third down. I thought that they gave up a lot of yards, but I think part of their scheme is made to make wide receivers kind of go over the middle and make decisions and make business decisions. So a lot of people are showing like the Brian Thomas compilation of him with alligator arms. Yeah, you're going to have to make a lot of tough catches against the Bengals defense because they're not going to blitz. They're the least blitzing team in the NFL. They're also like one of the teams that are getting the most pressure as well too. So it's like, I thought that the defense was making a lot more plays than what I think everybody told us that they were going to make at the beginning of the season. They did the same thing in week 1 where they made decisions, and I don't think it's by chance. I think that they're going to make a lot of plays throughout the season, and I think it's going to be a little compilation or a little mix of like bend don't break. And I thought at the end of the game too, like you get him in a good situation. Trey Hendrickson, closes it out, and I think he's one of the best closers in football. I feel like when Jake Browning comes in, it adds a different element to the Bengals team that Joe Burrow doesn't in the standpoint of what plays you could call. That doesn't mean that Jake Browning is anywhere near Joe Burrow. It doesn't mean that Jake Browning is better than Joe Burrow. It's just he can go under center. Safeties have to be honest. You're now seeing, even in the second half of that game, Jags go quarters. They try to blitz them. Jake Browning gets the ball out. It could be a pick. It could be whatever, but he's going to get the ball out to the weapons. And I think every single game moving forward, everybody told me that the Bengals were nothing except their weapons. And I'm just here to tell everybody all the weapons are alive and well. And I think Jake Browning is smart enough to know I'm going to get the ball to him. Jamar Chase leads out of the game with 16 targets. I sat with his family. They were very happy. They were very happy at the 16 targets. I thought he could have had 190. It was another catch that Jake Browning threw on a rope on the sideline. That was like a 30-yard pass, and he was like one hand away from it. I just think that he's going to be very dangerous. And when teams start to key in on that, I think Chase Brown, if you're a fantasy football guy, I think guys like that now can start to eat. And that's not a knock on Joe Burrow. It's just Joe Burrow is a system. Joe Burrow is like, anybody that's open, I'm going to get the ball to you. Jake Brown improved on Sunday. He don't give a damn about that. If it's a one-on-one, dude that just paid $40 million, ball going to you. Dude that just paid $30 million, ball going to you. Joe Burrow don't operate like that, but Jake Browning does. So I thought I walked away from the game feeling like that, and I think the defense is a lot better than what people give him credit for.
And all I know is that if Jake Browning got to play the Jaguars every week, you guys might have a Hall of Fame quarterback on your hands, because for some reason that guy just completely smokes the Jaguars. But I got another question for you. With Joe Burrow now suffering another injury, is this a situation where, like, do you think that Joe Burrow is injury prone, or do you think it's more of just fluky things that keep happening to him?
That's a great question. It depends on how you define injury prone. I wouldn't call him injury prone, but I'll say this, and I know a lot of Bengals fans won't like this. I've never had an appendectomy. You know what I mean? Like, there's small little things. I see his eyes all the time. He has severe allergies, right? So there's small things. Like, y'all know people in your life that you ever talk to somebody and they like, my back hurt, or they're always sick, or something's always wrong with them. I feel like those same people that I play football with, they were always hurt. And it's kind of like the luck of the draw, and it's a style of play. I think a lot of people put it on the offensive line, but I think the offensive line, if you look at the grading on it or whatever, Orlando Brown probably played his best game. Dylan Fairchild is one of the only guards in football that hasn't allowed a pressure. Like, so I thought Orlando Brown did a pretty good job. I was worried about Josh Allen, Hines or whatever. I thought he did a pretty decent job against him. And I thought, like, it's a style of play. Ben Roethlisberger, Josh Allen, guys like that, they can take hits. They have more body mass, and they play that style of play, right? Joe Burrow has a frame like Tom Brady. Go watch a Tom Brady game. He throws the ball away 6-8 times a game. Joe Burrow doesn't throw the ball away once. And if you get a throwaway, it's like he kills a screen. And that's not to say that I'm blaming it on Joe Burrow. It's just his style of play is extending plays. So when you extend plays, like the play he got hurt on, the slant route got taken away. Jamar couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. Then it just makes it so that now he's got to go do something. And if he didn't, it was 2nd and 20. Then in his mind, he's like, yeah, bro, it's going to be 3rd and, whatever. Now we're going to have to punt. Joe Burrow doesn't have anything in his mind that says, I'm going to throw the ball away in that situation. I got to get to a 3rd and manageable. And that's just the way he plays. If he doesn't change that way, then I think he could 100% get injured again. You also, to the injury prone thing, and I'm going to wrap it up. You say, is he injury prone? He had a calf injury. Remember, he was out like 2 months, like, right? And I know he plays quarterback, and he came back and he still wasn't really right. I was monitoring that Christian McCaffrey injury like 2 weeks ago, like fantasy football. Played the next week, didn't miss a beat. You know what I mean? And that's not to say I don't know whose was more severe, but it's just certain people. Me being around, like at the game, being next to Jamar Chase and everything like that. He's built like a linebacker. His calves are the size of my head. He's the biggest person you probably ever seen. Saquon Barkley, lower body, all these different things. They don't get hurt as much unless it's something crazy. Then there's the other side of it that says, well, Jadeveon Clowney's 280 pounds or whatever, and he fell right on his wrist. Then there's, you get an ACL tear. So it's so many different ways you could go with it. And that goes into the definition of what you call injury prone to me. And it's like, however you define it is however you defined it.
Yeah. And I guess the silver lining here is that it's not a season ender. It'll be about 3 months. So hopefully the Bengals can float at least around that 500 mark, and maybe Joe Burrow can take over.
I don't know about that.
You don't know if it's a 3-month thing?
Nah. There's never been a person that had a grade 3 turf toe and came back from football in the same season.
Wow.
Do you think he's out? Like gone?
They didn't put him on season-ending IR. So if you got fantasy football, stash him, I guess. But 3 months is very optimistic. He could put like something in his shoe, I'm sure. I've never had turf toe. I talked to AJ Green directly after the game. He said, bro, his best option is to get the surgery. AJ Green had turf toe in 2018. Brock Purdy has a mild case of turf toe. So these people that I've talked to, I've also talked to Willie Anderson right after the game. Willie Anderson plays right tackle. He said, yeah, I just shot it up every week. And then after the season, I got surgery. Joe Burrow, the only good thing I can say is that it's on his left side and not his right. I don't think it, and I'll tell you this, I do think the Bengals will still make the playoffs, right? 2-0, They still have a 50% chance to make the playoffs, as you'll see on Sleeper later on in the show. But if Joe Burrow were to only come back for the playoffs, I wouldn't even play him. I don't think he'll be right to play at that spot. It would have to be like week 14, like against he got Cardinals, Dolphins, Browns, or something like that. He had to be back then. Bringing him back to the playoffs to a team that just made the playoffs or whatever, like, nah, I just can't see it.
So shouldn't they do what everybody telling us to do? Shouldn't y'all just go ahead, not tank, but like go get y'all offensive lineman of the future?
We're 2-0. We are not the same.
But you just said that you won't even bring him back. So like, I'm just asking, like, what would be the point of going to the season and just to get your ass beat? Like, wouldn't you want to get your offensive lineman to protect Joe Burrow?
I got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Mike Gesicki, Noah Fant.
Joe Burrow.
But I got real weapons. Like you don't. So it's a little different. So think about this. The conversation that you had of Myles Garrett right now, he really couldn't have too much of an input in that conversation because he's not on the offense. My offense, I mean, Jake Browning, he came in and went 10 for 10, 95 yards down the field. Maybe he doesn't win a Super Bowl, right? Maybe he doesn't. But I'm in a way different spot than you. It's not
you are. I'm just saying though. I'm just asking a question. That's all I'm saying. That's all.
I'm answering. Yeah. I don't think we're in the same spot. I think that the Bengals currently right now, as you'll see, have a 50% chance to make the playoffs. Say that they don't. At no point could you tell a dude you just paid $40 million, yeah, just chill out. Like, hell no. This thing is moving. Noah Fant, Gesicki, all these dudes, they're moving. And they believe that Jake Browning is going to get the ball to him. Before the season started, ESPN told us that Jake Browning was the number 2 backup quarterback in all of football. We're running with it. There is no trade. There is no other quarterback coming in that doesn't know the system.
Shador, we're gonna go. You don't like Des Bryant's suggestion?
Shador could take his drama and all that BS that come with him and go do that shit over there.
I'm so glad you quote tweeted that, bro. I'm like, what is this?
What is that?
What is that?
Now, I will say this. If the Bengals would have drafted Shador in like the 4th, 5th, and he was like learning from Burrow the whole time, cool. But bringing him into this situation, no, sir. No, sir.
All right, so we'll just see what happens. We'll go around the table. Mark, what were your thoughts about this Jaguars-Bengals matchup?
I thought Zim was going to be more insufferable. He's quite nice, actually. It's quite good, Zim. Did well, mate. I thought, because you know why? I thought because the backup quarterback won. I was like, oh, the backup quarterback, we're going to go to Super Bowl. Like, I thought you were going to be like that, but Bengals. Look, I thought I saw bits of the game, highlights, this and this. Good defense. You know, Hendrickson's out on fire. Jake Browning, he could be a guy to go and get the playoffs. But it does come back to what's going to happen with Joe Burrow, because this happened, 2023 as well. And then Joe Burrow came out and threw like 50 touchdowns or whatever in 2024. So really, in 2026, Joe Burrow is going to throw 100 touchdowns. He's going to come back on a comeback tour. But obviously, the Jags had a chance to win on downs, as you guys know, and then they went on downs and they went down the field. I thought that last drive was really good. So if that's anything to going forward, being 2-0 and have a chance to go to the playoffs, and 2-0 is a great start. Browning's your guy for the next few weeks or whatever it may be. It is, look, you don't wish injury on everyone. You want the Steelers or you want the Ravens and Browns to play the people who are there. You don't want to play a backup quarterback or whatever it is. I think this week it's Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning. Is that right? On the cards?
Yes, sir.
Who would have thought that was going to happen? Do you know what I mean? So
3-0.
3-0. He's already predicting it. Isn't Carson Wentz a Super Bowl champion though?
He is, technically.
Isn't he a wash bum?
I guess on Sunday, right?
Like, yeah, the Bengals played really, really good football, and they deserve to win that game. Just the big story is now that everyone's going to watch is what's going to happen at the quarterback position with all the weapons around them.
Yeah, so we'll, of course, monitor that. That'll be a fascinating storyline going forward because, yeah, there's a lot of weapons out there. I mean, Browning threw 2 picks in that game, but he still threw a heck of a lot of yards because there's a lot of guys that throw the ball too, right? So we'll see what ends up happening there. Samuel, what were your thoughts on this Jaguars-Bengals game?
Well, first, shout-outs to Joe Burrow. I know a lot of Ravens fans are throwing crap about him having a toe injury, and I don't like that. That's bad juju, especially for the quarterback position. You would hate for Lamar Jackson to get hurt, so don't make fun of the Bengals or Joe Burrow or anything like that, because I certainly wouldn't. But as far as the Bengals are concerned, uh, they're not out of it. I don't think they're out of it by any stretch of the imagination. If you look at the schedule, I mean, they got some tough matchups against the Lions, Packers. They play the Ravens twice. They got the Eagles and Bills in there. But besides that, all those other games are winnable, and even those games are winnable for them. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to sweep those tough games that I mentioned, but if they split or even go 2-4 in that matchup, they're still primed for a playoff spot in an AFC conference that isn't that great. Besides the Bills and Ravens up top, the rest of the conference is doo-doo water right now. I think the shift has gone from the AFC being the powerhouse to the NFC being the powerhouse. There is definitely a shot that the Bengals would make the playoffs, and if you give Jake Browning 15 games to get acclimated to that offense, he's been in this situation before. I'm not necessarily throwing the Bengals out of the playoffs because Joe Burrow isn't on the football team, but I will say that the Bengals' chances of making the Super Bowl are severely reduced. Zim knows more than me. I'm still not sold on the defense. I need to see more. There will be opportunities for the Bengals defense to show me. They've got some big time matchups coming up, so we'll see. But yeah, I think the Bengals are, out much better spot than the Ravens would be. If the Ravens lost Lamar Jackson, this would be an entirely different situation. I would not trust our backup quarterback to win a game, let alone the gauntlet that the Bengals have to go through without their star QB. But I think with Jake Browning, they're going to lose him. There's going to be some frustrating moments. But like he said, Joe Burrow doesn't like being in the center. He likes to survey the field. He likes to see what's in front of him. He likes to this preset recognition. A big part of that is him seeing the defense before the snap. And I think Jake Brown is one of those guys where you can put him under center. Chase Brown will be a lot more a part of that offense moving forward than a lot of people may even understand. And play action will be a big part, meaning there's going to be more opportunities for these receivers who are already adept at getting open to be even more open in certain situations. So it'll be up to the offensive line to keep them upright. But I think the Bengals aren't out of it. Big blow. Let's not make any mistake about it. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Joe Burrow's gone is bad, but I think they still have a chance to make the playoffs because the AFC is pretty weak.
All right, so we'll end it off with Chef Zay. But before I get your takes on this game, I got to ask you, because, of course, the Bengals, you hate them, AFC North team, but you also had the Jaguars first-round pick. So given the Browns situation, who were you actually rooting for in this game?
I'm never rooting for an AFC North opponent, though. Like, that's one thing you got to understand about this panel. That I don't mess with. I mess with these guys, but I don't mess with their team. So I don't really care, honestly. I think you guys are gonna lose the games that you need to lose. I think it's icing on top of the cake. Like I said, I go back to the whole who's making the picks and who's going to be the coaching regime to coach these guys up. That's what's more important to me.
Interesting. So what were your thoughts on this game?
You gave your shout out, Sam, to Joe Burrow, but I think we got to give the shout out to Jake Browning, man. The most important statistic here is 16-8. And one thing that I know from 2023, when you got backups and multiple quarterbacks coming in, the one thing that they have to do is find the playmakers and find the ones making the most amount of money. And Zim harped on that right after the game, where he's like, I come away and I look at this and I see 16 targets to Jamar Chase. I'm cool with that mindset. I'm with that 1,000%. If they're going to have any shot to keep this thing afloat and to continue to do what they sought after with Joe Burrow, Jake Brown is just going to have to find Jamar Chase and T. Higgins literally every chance they get, and obviously limit the turnovers in the process. But in terms of like the bigger goal, the biggest goal, it's no longer what it once was. That's why I was genuinely asking Zim, like, would it benefit you guys to even get to the playoffs? Because if Joe Burrow does come back, let's just say Jake Browning does above par, like he's like slightly above par, and he gets into the playoffs and Joe Burrow becomes healthy. Now you're in the situation where, do you let Joe Burrow come back and take over the ship? Or do you want Jake Browning to finish what he started, essentially? And now you're in that conundrum. So obviously it's not a terrible situation to be in. You're talking about a playoff scenario, obviously, but it is one of those things where you paid all of this money to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Joe Burrow, just those three guys alone. You have an opportunity right now to go draft a lineman at the top of the, like, if you do, not saying that you guys should tank, but I'm saying, would it benefit you more to miss the playoffs so you can go out there and get somebody to protect Joe Burrow?
No. And one example of that is the Chiefs currently right now, where they just drafted at pick number 31. They got one of the best tackles playing in football right now. So, like, the only time that anyone should ever tank, everybody write this down. is for a quarterback. A quarterback is
I want to say Tank is not
that is the only that is the only position in football worth even tanking, because you got 53 people that are trying to get paid and try to go get whatever and everything like that. You had to be really, really bad, which the Bengals were in 2019. They were terrible, and a bunch of expiring contracts and a bunch of people shelved. They tanked, and they almost messed it up with Dalton in the Dolphins game, but they tanked and they got the number 1 pick. To me, that's the only way. But I know maybe I'm taking what you're saying out of context as far as like tanking, but me getting the 15th pick versus the 20-something pick isn't worth it to 52 other guys in the locker room is the argument that I'll have for that. And I also just want to say this for everybody. Isn't there a real argument, and I think Ravens fans always tell me this, isn't it a real argument that Jamar Chase is probably the best player on the team? There's a lot of people I know that believe that. Like, I've always said that. Like, I think Joe Burrow is the best quarterback, right? But I always said on our team, I think Jamar Chase is the best player. And you could do with that what you want. But I just think that now it's his team.
We about to find out. That's for sure.
Absolutely. So before I get into the Steelers game, we have a super chat here. One of you guys are going to need to translate this one for me. He says, Billy Ray Cyrus send Josh Allen to Baltimore for 89.
For Mark Andrews.
Okay. All right, whatever. I think that's a little lopsided trade, don't you think?
Billy Ray Cyrus? Like,
I don't know.
Isn't he a singer?
He's like a country guy, right? Country singer?
yeah.
What's the Billy Ray Cyrus part? Like, I don't get that part.
I thought this must have been an inside joke that I just don't know about. But I guess all of you guys are clueless.
Are they saying you look like Billy Ray right now? Because you.
I guess. I think he's wanting me to
he
send Josh Hines Allen. Okay.
I got
you.
No. He thinks that you're. Hold up. What the hell?
Now I'm thinking about it.
I think what he's saying is he thinks I look like Billy Ray Cyrus. He wants me to send Josh Hines Allen over to Baltimore in exchange for Mark Andrews. I think we decoded this one, guys.
Oh, there we go.
I think
I thought he thought that you were a Bills fan.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think he's talking about our Josh Hines. I don't think Baltimore wants Josh Allen. I think they'd rather a pass rusher.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like I just escape the escape room. Okay. I feel very, very smart right now. So
Juan says in the comments, he says he looked like Billy Ray.
Gotcha.
I don't know Billy Ray. I don't even know Billy Ray. So
usually,
he said, "No, I want the pass rusher." Okay, gotcha.
Well, usually people tell me it's Gardner Minshew or brown-haired Trevor Lawrence. Look, it's fine. I look like what I look like. so we'll move on.
Sounds like content. It sounds like you need to hit up the parking lots and just put on, like a Trevor Lawrence jersey, and then you got yourself some content.
It sounds like I can dye my hair brown or blonde and then go trick or treating in about a month. So. We'll see about it. So we'll move on.
Minshew.
Hey, do you guys need Minshew? I think he might be available.
He'd be a good. I would take him in the back of the room. I would take him in the back of the quarterback room. 100%. I would take him. But the Bengals, they signed Mike White and they signed like 3 other quarterbacks too. So I don't know.
You guys should just sign a new one to the practice squad every week and just have everyone duke it out.
Just have them duke it out behind the scenes. I don't know. We'll see.
All right, so we'll move on to this Seattle versus Steelers game. Of course, the Steelers came into this one, scored a lot of points after the Jets game. And then, of course, this one I think was highlighted. I didn't see this game, but I did see the one play. I think everybody saw the one play by the kick returner. I don't know what he was thinking, but maybe Mark does. Mark, what were your thoughts on this one?
It's about time we fire Cale Johnson. He's gone. He's now cut. He's out. Tough one to swallow. Our highest paid defense is, I think, hey, give me a fucking chance, mate. Give me a chance. Or at least mute yourself. All right. Our highest paid defense should not be allowing 61 points for 2 weeks. Like, it's terrible. Our run defense is absolute trash. Like, we need to fix that. Linebackers do not want to move up and tackle. A lot of injuries too, from Deshaun Elliott to other guys like Joey Porter, but that's no real excuse. We came out, I think, in the Jets game. We snuck away with a Chris Boswell win, and it's at the point now where I'm thinking our offense is actually better than our defense, and I shouldn't be saying that. right? But it did come down to that game. We were doing quite well. They had a big play from Warren down the sideline for 60 yards. Had 2 bad plays, and Rodgers threw an interception to the end zone. It was going towards Frymouth. Calvin Austin got in the way, tipped it up. Great play by the Seahawk. But then they went down to get, we probably should have went 4th and 1, not punted the ball away. Mike Tomlin always says, don't live in your fears. He was on the 50, lived in his fears. They got the ball back, went down the field and scored a field goal. The turning point, though, was definitely Caleb Johnson. He does not know the rules. And anyone who's saying it's Mike Tomlin's fault or Danny Smith chewing his gum, his fault, they don't know football, they don't know coaching. It was the player's fault. It's a rookie mistake. You have to get the ball. It doesn't matter if it lands in the landing zone and bounces, you should know the rules, and you need to run back and get it. Now, there is one thing that I don't think he should be playing kickoff returns. That's a failure, I believe, from the Steelers organization in putting him back there. Maybe they're trying to get him touches to warm him up, like into the game. But it was a big move. Like once they ran down the field and got a TD, they're up by 10, and the game was pretty much over. So there's a lot to correct in terms of offensive line. They need to run Warren more. They're not doing that as much. They only threw the ball to DK Metcalf a handful of times. And pretty much after that field goal, then that kickoff return, it was all over. And it was very deflating. So I understand you guys are going to rip me. Don't give 2 shits. I'd go for it. Because honest to goodness, like, I don't know if I'm going to choose the Steelers to win this week. I don't know. That's the first time I've ever said in a long time. So they're a bad team right now. Not good.
But it's the Patriots.
Well, I know. I hear you. Don't worry. I hear you. I'm on the fence, mate. I really don't know if I'm going to choose them or not. I'm like, the way we've been playing, the way that we've allowed.
Where's TJ Watt? You ain't even touch on the TJ Watt.
I was going to bring him up.
I'm just trying to say, Mark didn't even mention him. What the hell's going on? Where's your guy?
It's not a fucking hour show. It's only
he's $40 million a year. Where the hell is he?
Yeah, just give me a second. All right. So with TJ Watt, what I've been seeing is they are double teaming. They are running away from him because he's a really good player, right? The Steelers do need to disguise him better. They need to move him around, but they don't do it. So yes, the last. I know you're in shock. It's fine.
Wait, double teams? You're talking about double teams?
Double teams?
Have you not seen the highlights?
No, I'm talking about.
Hey, Myles Garrett and Trey Hendrickson, Max Crosby, we all getting double team.
Yeah, he gets chipped as well. I didn't really bring Myles Garrett into the conversation because Myles Garrett was talking about leaving fucking the Browns last year for a Super Bowl team. I don't get that. And that's Myles Garrett's the guy. He's a great football player. Well. Myles Garrett's still a guy that hit a go with a helmet with one of my blokes too. I still think that's freaking awful. So, but he is. TJ Watt's getting double team, bro, out there 100%. And yes, it looks like he's missing. Our defense is not good right now. I will 110% say that, like, with facts right now. It is bad. Like the fact that we're allowing 100-yard rushes week by week, and they, we were the first team, right? We're the first team in NFL history to allow a player 19+ yard running touchdown from 3rd and goal. Ever.
Hey, do you believe me now? You're getting close to our territory.
I don't think we're getting close.
Oh, I love it. I love this, Mark. I love it.
This has been, I will say this has been, with the Joe Burrow injury and then Mark losing, this has been one of the more somber episodes that we've had. I could tell that, and then Sam is so reserved because he's just like, don't bring none of that bad juju my way.
Exactly. I'm
can I say, can we all agree that Sam's got the best fucking team though? Like Sam has a really great Ravens team. That's why he can. I
told you that before the season started. I said on paper.
Yeah, what is Sam in Hawaii again in his hotel wherever he is? I don't know
right. Living a sweet life.
Chill. We can all bark and yell at each other and say Browns.
Sam ain't gonna say nothing to the playoffs.
Doesn't need to. He's got a fucking
that's
great
why
team.
He said. What did he say? He was gonna go 15-1 16-1 or something like that.
Yeah, I said I was gonna sweep the division.
Yeah, but he ain't go in and give you no prediction for no playoffs.
Not because I can't.
9 Cavs. I'm telling you, baby.
That's what we're gonna see. Real Sam. Sam gonna get off that resort at that point. Like
stressed out, boy.
Yeah. But no, this is a different episode for us, guys. Come on, we gotta ramp it up.
We got a different host too. Look at this.
Don't let me win.
Everything's different.
I'll ramp it up for you. Don't let us win.
It's the energy because I get it. I get it though.
Yeah. It's
every
interesting.
team's going backwards, really. Like all three teams are going backwards. Or Joe Burrow can, Bengals can do something, but
maybe. I think you know what it is too. In the all season, I think the reality, and I always tweeted this out about everything. Every time I ever say something about like health and all this other stuff like that, it's like in the all season, everything like you're getting everything from your website, from the team's website. Oh, we just signed this guy. Oh, this guy's looking real good at camp. So everybody believes that they got a chance. And then the reality of a gladiator sport happens. Injuries start to happen throughout. It might not be your quarterback. It might be somebody that you thought was going to be lit. It could be, I'm surprised you didn't touch on Alex Highsmith. I felt like he's the guy that I thought was dominating and playing really well. And I saw his injury on there or whatever. So it's like all these things that happen in our mind to be like, yeah, this is how I think it's going to go.
Yeah, it all changes.
That shit changes quick, boy.
That's fandom, though, really. Our fandom is we all start 0-0, and we had, on paper, a really great defense. Highsmith was out. One of our linebackers was vomiting on the sidelines because the heat got to him. It's something that's his fault for not being so conditioned. Like, there's players out, and guys got to step up, and they just aren't doing that. The defensive line is absolute toast out there. Like anyone, and that's why I said we versus Ravens next week, they'll run 500 yards on us because we can't stop them. And they're laying 9-yard runs over and over and over and over.
I'm gonna just tell you this straight up. I know this all season, Mark. You escaped a lot of conversations about contracts. Like they put the pressure on me. They kept on asking me about Trey Hendrickson. They kept on asking me, and the whole time it was Boswell, it was Cam Hayward, it was TJ Watt. You escaped a lot of conversations about that. And the reason why I'm bringing it up now is because they were getting on me like, bro, you just got a Band-Aid for Trey Hendrickson. But I'm gonna tell y'all, as a fan, one thing people do not talk about is the other end of the spectrum in that conversation. I pay somebody $40 million. You better than me, Mark. I'll be on this show talking about where the hell is this dude at? He hasn't had
happened if Miles Garrett we 0-2.
Bro, if Trey Hendrickson was, bro, if he came on here as a Bengal fan and bro wasn't getting no sacks, no pressures, TJ Watt hasn't had a sack in 6 games dating back to last season. You mean to tell me it's just the defensive line?
I don't. Y'all
better figure it out. 40 mil.
I disagree.
You better show me something.
Because as a fan of the Steelers, I'm not going to flip in 2 games. I think that's ridiculous. I think as a fan, to know that TJ Watt has done so much, why would I flip now in 2 games saying he's the worst? There are some fans that they want to trade him away. They don't want to play him. They want him, gone. And I don't think that's right.
Yeah,
but
no, I'm not saying that. But I feel like when you pay somebody $40 million, you're establishing he's one of the best in the game. Period.
Joe Saxon otherwise.
And if you're not getting the results, it's not a reason to flip out. It is eye-opening, especially since the injury last year and then him coming back and all these different things and now him getting older. It does make me look at him like, have we seen the best of TJ Watt?
I don't think we see. I think we still got more to go. There's obviously it's more than just one player on our defense, but our defense in whole is not great. Like it's all kinds of it. Like even Highsmith being out, I don't know if he is the guy to be on the side of TJ Watt. He's good, but then he's not really great. Sometimes getting injured all the time. Our corner, the only real one guy out there playing tough is Jalen Ramsey. To be honest, at the moment, I think he's been playing real tough out there. Other guys, though, we're just allowing guys running right through. And this could be a coaching thing. It could be a Terrellson thing. It could be a Mike Tomlin thing. We go 1-1 and fucking Yinza Nation, fire Tomlin. It's like, again? And they're not going to fire him. I don't care what anyone says. If you like it or don't like it, the Roonies won't fire Mike Tomlin. It won't happen.
I think there's something internal going on with the Steelers right now. And I think if you put together all the pieces of the puzzle, like the contracts that Zim just mentioned, the way that the defense does look and the expectation that was set, there's something that you can't visibly see that's wrong with what's going on right now. That's stuff and that's a credit to the organization for keeping it under wraps and not letting stuff slip out. But from someone who does know what eternal problems look like a lot, you know what I'm saying? There's something going on in that Steelers organization that they're trying to figure out. And I think personally, Tomlin is the Band-Aid that's keeping all that stuff together. And when Tomlin gets out of that thing, all of the Pandora's box is going to be opened.
The outside perspective,
Right.
where 65, no, maybe about 40% Yinzers would say fire Tom in a heartbeat, but they don't understand it. He is the guy, even though he makes mistakes and this and blah blah. But he does keep the team together and have the best chance to win because he can rally this team around to go 10 wins and whatever it may be.
For sure.
But we still have I see it every day on my YouTube, my Twitters. We haven't won a playoff game in 7 years. Like we see it all the time, bro. It's not even, you know, the hard thing is it's not from you guys at AFC North. It's from their own Steelers fans. Steelers fans hate other Steelers fans. That's
all of our fans, like when we get on these shows, listen, when we get in these shows, we have all these conversations that we don't even talk to the AFC North Roundtable about, but we're a voice. To me, I feel like we're all like a beacon of representative body. Like when we come on the show, we representing for comments that you might have said. Like I know Zay talks about the inner workings of stuff that most people don't think about with the Browns a lot on this show, right? I think I know some stuff sometimes, but I'm like, let me just get right to like, you know, whatever. But every single fan base has that divide at some point. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a divide when I talk to Ravens fans before about Flacco versus that style versus Lamar's style, like before, right? I think Lamar's killed all of that, like now, right? But there was a divide. Will that style work? And da-da-da. And then these arguments, then they build up, and some of them are stupid, and then some of them are like warranted, you know, like so the Tomlin one, everybody knows what he's capable of. I think a lot of times as fans, though, we're not really paying attention to, like, even me. Like, I got high hopes for a lot of the guys on defense and stuff like that. And I will be like, bro, I think they're first round, second round picks and all these different things like that. But I'm kind of jaded, too, because I'm watching those guys a lot. And you don't really know, how does that talent level stack up against the Colts? How does that stack up against the Broncos?
That's
like,
right.
you don't really know until you really go out there on the field. And I think that, you know, like that's the part that you don't know. You might have high hopes. Like, I don't know. I would ask Zay, like, you know, he probably come on here and be like, man, Harold Fannin is that dude. Harold Fannin would get on the Bengals, and I think he would do well, but I don't think he would get the opportunity.
I get what you're saying with that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a bad choice. Harold is that guy for real.
But I'm just showing you the difference of like perspective, I guess. Like if I had Mason Graham, he 1,000%. I might give you shit 1,000%. He's starting. He's gonna have impact because I need that position.
But that's also a fifth round comparison to a first round comparison. A little different.
Correct. In contrast, say we would have drafted Mike Green. I know that he a dog. I know that he like that. He would be splitting a bunch of time with a lot of people. I don't know. Like we already have a first round edge with Miles Murphy. I already got, you know, well, I wouldn't have had Shamar Stewart, but they just signed Joseph Osai. They have other edge guys. I don't know if he can't stop the run. I don't know if he ain't taking no reps from Trey Hendrickson. So it's like, it's all about perspective. Like from your team, you might be like, yeah, he that dude, whatever. I'm like, you know, I don't know if he would do all that for real.
One last point on that. Sometimes we forget about the other team, right? Seahawks played a good game. Sam Darnold, I'm not going to try and I called him Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts last week, and I think he's a good quarterback to almost great quarterback. He played really well last year with the Vikings. So he carved us up. Sometimes we forget about the Seahawks, we forget about the other team. Now, I understand the Jets got smashed last week and whatever, so maybe they should allow so many points. But Seahawks came out there and they went to our weakness. They ran the ball down our fucking throat, and they killed us that way. And they found passes to Cooper Kupp. Who thought he's still playing? He's still out there playing. And they got Jackson Smith and Jigba. They tore us apart. Sometimes their offensive line was much better than our D-line, pushes all around. Like the Seahawks were just have wanted it more than we did. And maybe the Steelers, because we're that franchise of one of you and we've had all this, maybe teams do fight and amp up for it. But as Steel fans, we went into the season very confident, going to start 2-0 with all the pieces we got, and it's looked exactly the opposite. It's not over yet, though. Still 1-1. But the fan base, some of them does go, it's all fucking over. I say, fuck that. I don't wait 7 months of the year to then give up and walk away. Like, right. I'm going to keep watching every week.
I think I was the only one. I just want to toot my own horn. Toot. You picked this here. You want to know why? McDonald, Sam should have told you about the coach. He should have told you. Yeah. I told you Their secondary, I don't know. I'm not big on DK Metcalf and some of your guys, but like, what's up with Jonnu Smith? Is he like, what's up with him?
They need to use him more. They're not using Jonnu Smith. They're not using
See,
I think actually Jonnu Smith should be probably over Frymouth as number one, but
right.
they just won't do that.
I feel like that's your best. I feel like Darnell Washington, 13 personnel, Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith, and Frymouth out there at the same time. To me, is like that's what I would do.
I think Arthur Smith got too much in his way this week. Last week was a really good game plan, I think, and the offense was moving, and I think he just got too tricky. Darnell Washington got a chance for a 2-point conversion. He legit, like, he's 6'8", and he gets a chance for the ball. Steelers aren't using Jonnu Smith as much as they should be, and they definitely should be. But they have no time. There's no time in the pocket. The right tackle, left tackle getting crashed in. Rogers is old man Roger. I saw him try to run. He can't run. Like, he can't run. So he can play football, but he can't run for 4 yards.
Look, all I know is this is my first time being on the AFC North Roundtable, and I think Samuel maybe owes Mark one of his weekend stays over in Hawaii because Mark looks a little bit stressed today. Okay, look, it's just football. We can relax a little bit. There's always next week. It's only week 2. You guys are 1-1. I think you're all good so far. Not panic time. So real quick, guys, we do have to, of course, shout out to our sponsors. Let me see how I do this. Okay, I gotta share my screen. Pardon me, guys. I'm not usually used to hosting this stuff. So we're going to give a shout out to RotoWire. And for now, I guess Chef Zay is just going to represent the whole table over here. Actually, we'll bring everybody in. Look at this.
This is the part
all you guys in the small box. Look at that. Looking good.
Look, normally you just go to the screen and then Zay just says it's easy money. And then he just picks something like, it's easy money, everybody. Like that's all you got to do for this segment. Right?
But okay, we'll just do that. It's easy money, guys. Go over the RotoWire. Okay, but seriously, RotoWire is a great place because I know, look, if you're on a YouTube channel right now and you guys are watching a show specifically about a certain NFL division, you are a football junkie, okay? So I know everybody out in the chat, you guys all have your fantasy football teams, and RotoWire is a great resource to use to help win your leagues. I know me, I'm in one ESPN league, I'm in one Yahoo league, I'm in like 3 sleeper leagues. They're all over the place, but you guys can put all of your leagues essentially, import your data over here, and they're going to give you all your news and alerts. Like Brian Thomas Jr. logs a full practice. Oh, is that why he was alligator arming everything? Because apparently he had a wrist injury, all this different stuff. I mean, they can help you out with when it comes to DFS, your fantasy things, what you're going to pick up on the waiver wire this upcoming Wednesday. I know Wednesday at 3 a.m. waiver wires go through. So this is your spot to potentially win your fantasy leagues. You guys can get 15% off with promo code RTS over at RotoWire. We appreciate them for being a proud sponsor of the AFC North Roundtable. And next, we're going to go ahead and move on to Sleeper. So over here, once again, I had to go ahead and present. Give me 1 second, guys. How do I do this? Share screen. Stop screen. Okay, stop. And then I got to reshare. Look, guys, we're getting through this together, okay? And boom. And we'll bring everybody else back in as we can all look at my phone. Hopefully my wife doesn't send me nothing weird. All right, so we got over here. We'll go ahead and go through and make some sleeper picks. So we'll start off with Green Bay and Cleveland. Zay, you got anything that you like over here when it comes to different numbers for your Cleveland Browns?
Ooh, what's that, Miles? Ooh, one on. Ooh, they gonna really put a Miles Garrett sack up there? They tripping.
Anytime touchdown for Judy. You got Fannin, 34.5 receiving yards, and Njoku, anytime touchdown.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of like that Judd rushing. They had disrespected him and put him at 11.5 to open up last week, and it found its way up to like 19. Here's the thing why I like it so much. I just don't understand how a recipe for success is throwing the ball 90 times with a 40-year-old quarterback. Like, you can't be that delusional. So establish the damn run game and give him the ball.
All right, let's see it. So we got that one. We'll move on to Cincinnati, Minnesota. Let's see. They have Jake Browning over here, 238.5. Also Jamar Chase with an anytime touchdown.
Easy money.
That's intriguing. I don't even want to scroll down further, man. They're going to feed this guy.
What about Chase Brown? Y'all ain't got what's the Chase Brown stuff on there?
He's got an anytime touchdown. Let's see if he has any rushing
I would take the anytime touchdowns on Chase Brown and Jamar Chase. I think the receptions, Jake Brown ain't going to check that ball down. He going to run screens. I think Chase Brown 3+ receptions if you see something like that on there too.
All right, man. So we got 2 of them on the Bengals. Next, we can go ahead and move to the Steelers. We have 227 for Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, Warren, both with anytime touchdowns. Johnny Smith, 29.5. Freiermuth, 21.5. Gainwell, 26.5. Austin, 35.5. Are there any of these numbers that you like, Mark? I only have Mark in here. Let me bring him in here. There we go. Sorry about that, Mark. That was very rude of me.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Warren. Whatever the yards are over that. I think Warren needs to have a big game.
Yeah.
So I think the Steelers have to identify him as number 1 running back, even though he may not look like number 1 running back in the NFL for other teams, but for our team, has to be number 1. So whatever the yards are, if it's 60 or 70, he's over.
Okay,
has to
cool.
be.
Mark, no multi action on Caleb Johnson this week.
Mate, he's in the doghouse, mate.
I'm gonna see a Caleb Johnson jersey coming up, so you can rock it on the show.
I won't take. I don't mind that, but
Hey, like shit, I'll take it for free. I thought that was your favorite player now, so we got to support Jerry.
Well,
It's up to you to support him.
He made a mistake. I'm not going to say get rid of him or bench him, but it's definitely a bad
mistake.
For comedic effect, comedic effect. Yeah.
You were like, get him out of here. You was like, cut him.
Nah, I love them all, mate. Except the only one I didn't like from the recent issue was Mitch Trubisky. He was hard to follow. And Claypool. Claypool was fucking hard to follow too.
Were you a Kenny Two Gloves guy?
Well, you had to be. You had to get mine.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
All right, so
that's my quarterback.
Let's move on to the Ravens here. Monday Night Football. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. Lamar Jackson, 216.5 passing. You also got Zay Flowers and Hopkins and Andrews anytime touchdowns. Bateman as well. Got a bunch of Zay Flowers.
Even this year, Sam.
Yeah, Terry Arnold looks like a liability on that defense. I think he's gonna torch him up a little bit.
All right, sweet. So the AFC North Roundtable hopefully make me some money. I got $5 to win $135. So you guys can use promo code RTS to get a 100% deposit match up to $100. Supporting the sponsors definitely supports this channel. If you guys like your AFC North coverage, definitely lock into the Sleeper app. We appreciate them, of course. So next we go ahead and move on to the previews, I guess. And what we'll do for this one, we'll keep it host by host since we are running a little bit over. Want to respect everybody's time. We have 4 matchups, none of them within the AFC North. They're all against outsiders. So we'll start off the 2-0 Bengals going to Minnesota to play the 1-1 Vikings. The backup quarterback bowl, Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Zim, let me know your thoughts on this one.
Jake Browning absolutely hates the Minnesota Vikings. He famously cooked them last year and was like, y'all should have never cut me. So bro is about to be turned up, ready for this game. Also, I want to point out that the Vikings are currently one of the worst performing offensive lines in football. And guess who's coming to town? It's Trey Hendrickson, one of the best pass rushers in all the NFL with the highest pass rush win rate in all of football. My guy, Trey. So I feel really confident in that matchup. Aside from that, you don't really know what you're going to get from a backup quarterback. So I'm not here to sell you a dream. I do believe that he's going to get the ball to the weapons on the team. I like us in this game. I like us probably in this game more than I did in the first 2 games, honestly. And I watched JJ McCarthy stink up the joint on Sunday night or whatever I think it was. And I was like, please give me that guy. But I will say this, Bengals fans do not like Carson Wentz because that's the dude that made sure that the Bengals did not make it to the playoffs. So we are upset at that dude. So we want to kill him too. I like the Bengals in this game by 10 points.
All right, let's see it. So this next upcoming matchup, we have the 0-2 Browns at home facing the 2-0 Packers. So, I've got a little bit of extra money after hosting this one today. Should I go Browns money line, Zay? Let me know.
I've debated all day. I'm driving in the car and I'm like, man, roundtables tonight. I'm like, they're going to ask me. And I'm like, I'm the guy that's going to always say yes. And I'm trying to convince myself not to do it, right? But I don't give a damn about that shit. Give me the Browns, baby. There's no we can go 0-3. I'm sorry. I don't want to pick the Browns. My mind's telling me no. My fandom's telling me no. You know what I'm saying. My fandom is telling me that. Listen, 0-3 is a recipe for some of the most. I don't even know the word to put. Like, we thought last year was bad. We thought 2022 was bad. We thought 2021 was bad. Boy, if you start this season out 0-3 and your offense can't put up more than 20 points, it is going to be hell in downtown Cleveland for the next week and a half. And then you have to go to Detroit and do it again. And then you got to play the mother-loving Vikings. And then So listen, they cannot afford to go 0-3. Vegas, please do your damn work. Take that money line and get that plus 340, and let's get the 1-2, baby.
Let's go. You know, Zay, I thought you turned on auto-tune there for a moment. That sounded pretty cool. But next up, we'll go the 1-1 Steelers visiting the New England Patriots, also 1-1. This will be a pivotal matchup to see, I think, for both these teams to really figure out exactly what they are. Mark, let me know your thoughts on this one.
The Steelers haven't won in Foxborough, I think for like 4 or 5 years. They've only won twice there in 10 years. For the first time in probably a long time, I'm actually going to take the Patriots. I think the Patriots win. I think we have a bad team. I think the Steelers need to figure things out on defensive line. I think the trenches are bad. I think the team isn't well coached, not prepared. We have a lot of star players here and there, but they're not doing anything. I believe the Patriots will run over us. If they run the ball effectively and then Drake Mays is, not turning the ball over, I think the Steelers walk in there and get probably embarrassed again, and we start sweating and going, oh my goodness, what's going to happen this season with Rodgers and all these things. Now, I want to be proved wrong for sure, and I've been thinking about this, but as the moment, as a team is playing like this, I don't think they can win. Allowing 30 points every week, if they do it again, the Steelers are going to lose. So I got the Steelers losing like 27-19 or something like that.
In the words of Zim, we ain't the same.
Wow.
All right, so we'll end this one off. We got Monday Night Football. The 1-1 Lions going to Baltimore to face the 1-1 Ravens. Both of them had a couple of rough week ones, but big-time bounce backs this last Sunday. Samuel, give us your thoughts on this matchup.
I'm on the fence with this. I think the Ravens do win. It's Monday Night Football. It's in Baltimore. The Ravens offense looks like they're unstoppable. Jared Goff is a guy. Can the Ravens get pressure on Jared Goff? That's the question. They can put pressure on him, then they have a chance. Namdi Madubuike has looked good. He hasn't been as consistent as I would like. Calvin Noy's injured. He's not going to play for a while, so the Ravens are going to have to start Mike Green and play him more consistently. So you'll see more Tavius Robinson and Mike Green opposite of Dafe Owe. Can they get pressure on Jared Goff? If they can, it's going to be a long night for the Lions. If they can't, we could be looking at a little shootout on prime time for the Ravens. But give me the Ravens to win it. I'll have them winning by 7 points. Let's go 40-33.
No 30-point blowout.
Why y'all get to play all y'all primetime games at home?
I know. It's kind of crazy this year.
Ain't that nuts? No, it's like this every year, bro. It's like this every year. I'm going to tell y'all this. Never, ever, ever bet on Jared Goff on the road, bro. I'm telling you, he cooked me like 2 years ago. Remember that? It's been a bunch of games, but yeah.
All
he
right.
sucks on the road.
Well, there you have it. We also got a $2 super chat in here. I hope you guys have a great night. #RavensFlock. So appreciate everybody for tuning into the AFC North Roundtable. And of course, this is my first time hosting. Hopefully I can be back here one day. And with all that said, this is your boy Billy Ray Cyrus, and we are all signing out.
Make sure y'all got that like. There were over 250 people here. We only got 60 likes. Like that thing up, man. Y'all went crazy.
Spam that like button.
Let's go.
Spam that like button, man. AFC North Roundtable's here, and we are here to stay. Let's go. Catch you guys later.
Roundtable Sports Network is your one-stop shop for all things NFL, with daily live shows covering all 8 divisions in the league, hosted by the best content creators on the web, all on one network. Catch the AFC East live every Monday at 7 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. The AFC West Roundtable live Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. The AFC North Roundtable live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The AFC South Roundtable live Tuesdays at 7 p.m. The NFC East Roundtable live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. The NFC West Roundtable, live at 9 p.m. on Tuesday nights. The NFC North Roundtable is at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays, and the NFC South Roundtable is live Tuesdays at 8 p.m. EST. And of course, fourth and forever, the flagship show of Roundtable Sports Network, covering all things NFL at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Roundtable Sports YouTube channel. Real coverage, real fans.